Hello, and welcome to 6 Months Later, the podcast 180 Days in the Making. This is the podcast where we talk to interesting people about their lives and what's going on with them now, and then we check back in with them in 6 months to see how everything turned out. I am your host, Matthew Shadorn, and I am joined as always by my co-host,
Tara Newton-Wordsworth. Hey there.
Hey, Tara. How's it going today?
Yeah, it's going all right. Thank you. Aside from sort of, semi-breakdowns with parenthood. But other than that, feeling pretty good. How about you?
I am okay. I thought of a good way to utilize the format this week, which is that Joe Biden is going to pick a vice president next week. So if I say who I think the vice president is, and it turns out to be right, then I look like a genius, and I can get one of those sweet political pundit jobs that pay so well on cable.
Okay, so you're picking.
So I'm picking. So this is my pick. Is I think it'll be Kamala Harris. And in 6 months, we'll know, and she might be the actual vice president.
And then everyone's going to be like, oh my God, that's
amazing. He's so smart.
Cool. Yeah.
It's either her or Susan Rice or possibly Tammy Duckworth or Elizabeth Warren. It's one of those four.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm really not following it that much other than the big kind of main stuff about Trump and Biden and stuff. But I'm not really that. I mean, it's not my country. I'm not being, I know it means a lot to you. And I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the world. Obviously, fingers crossed it all works out.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not into it. It's like when I try to talk to people about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, you're like, hey, that's great for you. But this has nothing to do with me. That's fair. I mean, I honestly don't engage much with politics. As an American, I don't need to engage with politics outside of my own country. That's my right. I can just pretend other countries don't exist. And in fact, I am very, I should be more engaged with what's going on in the UK, considering that I live here and will continue to for the...
Well, but then you wouldn't really be American anymore. So I think you're doing great. I don't check in enough with Australian politics. I never really, they change prime ministers every 5 minutes. So I can't keep up with it. And also I just don't know about politics over there. So I try and stay on top of it over here. I'm not particularly... I'm excited about... I don't know if you've experienced this, but there seems to be quite a lot of live comedy starting up again, like outdoors. Have you seen much? So I've got my first gig next week.
I saw that.
In Swindon, which I'm really looking forward to.
Ooh.
So, sorry. I need to have some of my chamomile tea. But yeah, so I think I always think it'll be interesting to see in 6 months where live comedy's at. Hopefully we can do gigs again indoors.
Yeah, that's the dream, isn't it? Because outdoor gigs are all well and good at the end of July, but at the end of January, that's going to be a harder sell. To convince an audience to go outside and laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, so it should be, I mean, even over here, even in the summer, it's kind of one of those things where it could be touch or go whether it goes ahead on the day, depending on the weather. But hopefully, I mean, there's curry involved. Everyone loves curry. I love curry. So
Who
that's
doesn't?
my main reason for doing the gig is I also get free food. So I get free curry.
Oh, okay.
So excited about that.
You can just get curry on your own. You don't have to.
I guess so.
That's exciting. Do you feel like you're ready to do a set, having not seen more than 4 people at a time?
Well, actually, because it was funny. I looked over some of my old material because obviously I haven't done a gig in about 4.5, 5 months or whatever. And it was really fun. It was like, oh yeah, this is something I used to do. It was like that. It was really like reminiscent, and it felt really like, I don't know, it's going to be nice to kind of do it again, hopefully.
I guess so.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. And also Stuart Goldsmith is headlining, and I love the ComCom pod, Comedian podcast. So it'll be really exciting to hopefully meet him in person for the first time. Anyway, should we do our predictions for 6 months' time?
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead? What's your predictions?
I don't know. I'm actually feeling positive today. I'm feeling like it's going to be, I feel that things are getting better here and that hopefully we won't have a second peak, I guess. And I'm thinking we're going to be gigging again. I think we're going to be starting up live comedy indoors. I think we'll be working towards festivals and stuff again. I'm feeling very positive. How about you?
I don't know. Vault's already canceled for next year.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
There goes that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just I was like, oh, are you feeling good? Let me just shit on that. No, yeah. Vault Festival sent me an email that I'm not supposed to tell people about, but then nobody will hear this for 6 months. They've already canceled for next year, which is a bummer. I really liked their lineup. I really, really respected all the shows they had on there. Yeah, I'm hoping things will be better too. I think in 6 months, for me, I might have a baby. Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
This is amazing news.
Yeah. So January 27th is the official due date for my wife and I.
Oh my God. Congrats, Matt. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so sorry that I was negative about parenthood earlier in this intro.
That's all right. I was like, hey, I don't need to hear this right now. All right.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we're very excited.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm like buzzing now. That's awesome news. Amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You're going to be such a great dad. Like one of those really funny, fun dads that the kids don't think are funny. But like, you know, you obviously, you'll be making lots of great jokes that are funny to like us. But you know how children never think their parents are funny.
I guess that's true. I didn't think my parents were very funny. I still think they're not very funny. I don't know. Anyways, so we're like 15 weeks in now. And
wow. So have you gone for the scans and stuff?
Yeah, we had a 12-week scan.
Yeah, because I didn't know how the setup is with the NHS at the moment. So you got to go and do the 12-week scan and everything?
I didn't get to go in, but she got to go in. I biked over to the hospital with her, and I just hung around outside and went and bought her a donut for when it was over.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I was there for support. And then they are nice enough to give you free printouts of the scan from the NHS. So,
oh, man, I'm so sorry that you don't get to be in there for the scan. What a rough time. Like, it's so sad that that's the case at the moment. But
yeah, it was really a bummer. But hopefully by the 20-week scan, they're saying that I might be able to go in. So back in September. But yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment. But on the plus side, everything was really healthy, and the baby apparently moves around a lot, which is good. So.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is such amazing news.
Thank you.
Wow, that's really lovely. Yeah, you guys will be such beautiful parents. I feel really happy for that baby.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, it's so nice because obviously we're interviewing Esther Manito now, and she is a parent and she does comedy about parenthood, which is I'm really looking forward to talking to her about actually. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. So with no further ado, let's get into our conversation with Esther Manito. Please welcome to the show, very funny stand-up comedian, Esther Manito. Esther, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm all right. How are you guys?
We're good, you know.
Yeah, great. Fantastic, thank you.
Hanging out in lockdown as always. Day 10,000 of lockdown.
How have you found lockdown?
Well, there are days where I wake up and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm on this. I've got this cracked, and we're going to be like the Von Trapp family, and it's going to be amazing. And then there are other days where I'm like, I'm going to drink from the moment I open my eyes, and I really hope that you all die slowly, you total bunch of bastards. So I've become bipolar, essentially. I mean, I don't understand. I feel really inferior when I see people that are on Instagram and they're like, just really enjoying this quality time. Oh, we'll never get this back. And I'm there going, oh my God, why does my husband breathe so loudly?
Right.
And why don't my kids shut their fucking mouths when they eat? I don't know. But these are all the noises that I'm really focusing on. In fact, I might do, in fact, literally, this has just inspired me. I'm going to do a post called Noises of Lockdown, and it's just going to list all the noises that make me want to literally skewer my own eyeballs out.
Oh, maybe do you have that thing where like noises really affect them on a much deeper level than most people?
Ears?
Have you heard about this?
Some people have got these things called ears. I have heard about that, but my husband's quite a placid guy, and even he would never ever have got annoyed at the children before. But now I find that since lockdown, at mealtimes, me and my husband are just staring at each other whilst both the kids are like, we're like, shut your mouths when you chew. It's basic manners. Stop troughing it in like a pair of pigs. So I don't know if I've got that disorder. I think I'm just very much homing in on it. I don't think it's natural to spend this much time with any humans, whether you've created them or not, or married them through choice. I think we all need our own time.
I've actually I don't have any kids, so I'm having a different lockdown than you two. Yes. By the time you listen to this, I may have children, or well, just the one child.
I've
we are certain it's one.
Making love to many a woman.
Yeah.
Spawn I've burst up there.
That's always been my joke. Is I always wanted to start a family because that's the first step into my real goal, which is starting a secret second family. So. But I've actually felt like this lockdown's been really good because it made me realize that I really enjoy being with my wife. And
Aww,
yeah,
that's so nice.
Oh wow, you look so skeptical, Esther.
No, right. You may enjoy being with her, but does she enjoy being with you? I mean,
I think she does. I think she's been enjoying it.
No, don't believe it. Like if someone spoke to my husband, he'd be
Thanks
like,
for that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh no, it's like I've never met your wife, but I've met you on several occasions, and I cannot buy for a second that she
have met
enjoys your
wife,
company.
and she seems like a very, very, very lovely woman.
Oh, that's what you have.
I'm going to take this opportunity to speak for all women everywhere and say that they don't actually want to be with men 24/7. It's like retirement. It's like retirement. When your parents retire, it's your mum who goes, oh God, he's now here all the time. And it's your dad who just follows your mother around going, what should I do next? Is there a list I can follow? So women are not meant to be on their own with men, but I think men are quite happy. I mean, my husband's happy. He's now living the life of some Victorian lord. He just sits in the study all day while I'm sculling around with the children going, don't disturb father's in the study. So he's having a great time. But no, I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sure she is loving your time together. I'm just
this is so hurtful. It's so hurtful. Everything you say. Oh, I'm sure she loves your company. The various smells that you make, I'm sure are wonderful for her.
I'm sure that when you enter a room, even though it's silent, and say sorry, that she doesn't think, oh, I'm sure it's fine. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh my God, I love it. I am joking. Okay, I'm totally joking, guys.
I'm joking. I get a sense of humor now.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
Oh wow.
Well, thanks for being on the show, Esther. And it's been really pleasure.
I really loved what you said about your husband in Crusade, in your show Crusade that you took to Edinburgh last year, about him being obviously like very, very English. And I related to so much of it because my husband's so English as well. And I think just much more, I would say, and also similarly to what you said, like very sort of much more understanding with the children, like just so much more, like I get very, I don't want to say angry, but annoyed. Like I won't put up with I get very like, I'm not going to put up with bad behavior and not have a consequence. Whereas he's much more just like, oh, don't worry. Like, and I find it really difficult being with someone who's just a lot more, just like, I would say just a kinder, better parent than me sometimes.
He's not a kinder, better parent than you.
Thanks, Esther.
Yeah. I know that from this short interaction. Matthew's like, hang on a minute, why is her husband a complete bastard? Yeah, my wife's amazing. But I think naturally you're the one you're the one that's with them, especially like times during maternity leave and stuff. So you naturally are the one that's going to go, here am I setting the boundaries. And I think like my husband's the same. He really struggles to just kind of bowl in and be firmer because he's not with them as much.
Yeah, and it was funny because Will's always telling me to be more like, just give our older son more time, be more understanding. And today he had to take them out to the park while I'm doing this. And Charlie was sitting watching TV. I'd prepared a picnic for them. The picnic's all ready. He's taking the picnic. He's like, okay, Charlie, we're turning the TV off. And it's literally like 10 minutes of him being like, can you turn the TV off, Charlie? Here's the remote. Please turn it off. And it was going on and on. He's like, okay, we're leaving now. And then he pulls me out of the house too. So we're literally all standing on the outside of the door. Just waiting, and he's not coming. And it's that thing where it's like, okay, at what point are you going to just be like, I'm turning the TV off? Yeah, and then he was just like, oh, this really isn't working, is it? And I was like, nah, don't think it is.
They're narcissists. We are born narcissists, and they just need boundaries. They really do.
Yeah, and I let him deal with it as well. He went back in there, and he was just like, I'm going to count down from 5, and if you don't turn it off, I'm turning it off. And he did. He did turn it off.
Yeah, I do find it quite painful listening to my husband, where he's like, "Oh, right, okay."
Yeah.
I tell you what's going to happen. And the kids are screaming. They're naked. They're like shitting on the carpet. And he's like, "Oh, don't make me count to 3." And they're just like completely oblivious to the fact that he's even there.
I was wondering if counting is still a thing in parenting, because counting always seemed to work when I was a kid.
And it leads to nothing. You just go, right, that's it, 3. And they start panicking. And you're like, What
worst.
happens if it gets to 1? You're going to have to do something. I really lost my shit during lockdown, and I did the counting, and it got to 1, and they still hadn't done what they said. And so I reached for the first thing that I could grab to throw it on the floor, and it was a tissue box, and that is the most unsatisfying thing, because it just kind of floated really undramatically to the floor, and the kids were just like, I was like, oh, there's more where that came from. Yeah.
Sorry.
The other thing that I think really undercuts when people, every time I saw an adult do this when they were counting, they would be like 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4. Like, oh, it just really undercuts your authority.
Yeah.
We have no authority.
Yeah.
We have no authority whatsoever. You just think all those times when we were kids, we just got a clip round the ear. It just doesn't happen anymore. So we are the negotiation parents, and it's just forever. And anyone who says they've got a handle on it, whatevs.
Oh my gosh, I love your bit about the woman like being like, okay, I know you're hitting mummy because you're frustrated, please don't hit. And it was like that thing where like I feel like the number of times where it's just I'm trying so hard to, like, I do this bit, or I used to back when we could perform, where I talk about how like I'm trying to do gentle parenting, and it's basically just where you take all your anger and rage and you just push it down, repress it down, and just pretend to be a really kind person.
Yeah.
And that is what I feel like I try to do every day, is just pretend to be a lot kinder than I actually am.
There's that kindness though as well, because like I don't look back and think, oh, I was this abused child. I remember being a shit at times and getting a smack on the arse for it. So I don't look back on it and go, God, you know, that was really problematic. So I find it weird that if I were to smack my children now, which I don't, but if I did, I would genuinely feel like a child abuser.
Yeah.
And it's painful because I don't have those memories of feeling like I was abused. I look back and go, oh, yeah, I remember, you know, getting a smack because I spoke back, or, you know, broke something or whatever, or did something naughty. And I don't look back on that and go, oh yeah, that was really traumatic. But genuinely, if I were to smack my child, one of them, probably one more than the other, but if I were to
name names, which one? You can say one of them, and you're thinking about, oh, it's that fucking dick. Oh, that kid.
But if I were to smack that, I'd feel really guilty. I'd feel like a child abuser. I would be really cut up about it. And we've kind of got ourselves into this pattern now of like, unless you are just prepared to be in a domestic violent relationship with your own children, then you're a complete arsehole. So unless you're prepared to just take rudeness and hitting and all the rest of it and just go, it's okay, it's fine, then you're a piece of shit. And you just go, my mother would never have stood for that. It's quite amazing.
I just try and always have a consequence and follow through. So it's like, if you do that again, you're going to your bedroom. Or if you, and the other day I felt awful because I said that I'd take away rainbow sheep as a punishment. And I never could have imagined what that would cause. It was just absolute hysteria. And I wished I'd never done it. And obviously I like eventually was like, oh, you did the thing. Here's rainbow sheep. Remember rainbow sheep? And then by that stage, he like smashed rainbow sheep on the ground. Like he didn't care anymore about rainbow sheep or anything. It's just that point where you're like, sometimes that's where I see that the whole thing of like trying to calm them down or keep them calm or distract them from a potential tantrum. I see the benefits from that when you're like dealing with the tantrum. But
I think that, yeah, the tantrum, although I put this out on Twitter the other day because my son really made me laugh, because I was like, do you know what, pal, right? You are going to tidy this house top to bottom. You're going to tidy the living room. You're going to tidy the playroom. You're going to tidy your bedroom. You're going to tidy the bathroom. And my son turned around and went, well, someone should.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's incredible. How old is he?
5.
Oh,
whoa.
He's a catty bitch.
Far out, man. 5. Like, what? That makes me scared for the future.
Yeah.
That's the most cutting thing. Yeah.
I also got called into my daughter's class because she'd had a fight, a physical altercation with a boy in her class, and me and the father of the boy were in, and this boy had hit my daughter, and my daughter had got really angry, and he said, I can hit you because boys are stronger than girls. And so the dad of this boy was like, oh, I'm so sorry, and that's not what we teach in our house. And my daughter apparently turned around and went, yeah, well, if girls are so weak, how come we do all the housework then? And I was like, that has completely, like, your argument has just undercut. So it's just both me and this father going, no, that's not how it is at home. My daughter's like, you do all the shopping and all the cleaning. I don't see my dad doing any laundry or lifting. So like, oh god, that's so telling. Although my kids were supposed to be going to my in-laws today, but they were so bad at going to bed last night that we cancelled going to my husband's parents, who are lovely, roly-poly English. Let's just do lots of fun baking and fun activities. And as punishment, instead of going with my husband's parents, they are now spending the day with my father, who will not engage with them and who will scream at them about politics. And and I'm like, oh yeah, you're going to Granddad Ziad's. And they're like, no, I don't understand anything he says. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I know what the Geneva Convention is. And it's like, you're going and you'll listen to his communistic rants.
Incredible.
I was going to say, what kind of politics does your father yell at your kids?
My dad is a massive old school lefty, to the point where he has not left the 60s. So when you go into his flat, he just has a massive wall hanging of Che Guevara. He has a massive wall hanging of Che Guevara. And on the other wall, he has a massive wall hanging of Karl Marx. And my daughter really pissed him off when she went, is that Michael Jackson? And he lost his mind.
Yeah, I love that your dad is indoctrinating your children early on.
I know.
Into socialism. Yeah. That's what the world needs.
So my dad basically got kicked out of every single educational institution in Lebanon and in Egypt, and eventually his parents were like, okay, you're just gonna have to go to England and go to school there. So he ended up 14 and in Birmingham, and then he went to Newcastle Uni and joined the Communist Society at university, and him and my mum met whilst protesting.
Gosh, sounds romantic.
Very nice, yeah.
Romantic when they were going through the divorce. But at the time, it's definitely a great love story. Yeah. And also, I think it's quite stressful I think it's stressful being in a household where your parents aren't very connected, but also when they're two different nationalities as well, because then some very subconscious racism comes into play, where both of them are kind of like, oh, it's because she's English and that's why, and the other one's like, oh, it's because he's Lebanese, and you're just there going, oh, I'm both. So this is fun for everyone involved. So yeah, it definitely had its issues, which are clearly fine because I'm fine.
Sure. No, nobody's saying you're not. Nobody was implying that with subtle looks.
Subtle looks.
I think important for the listeners to know that Esther did some very funny eye movements after saying that. So that's why Matt and I laughed.
For those of you who've never seen Esther Manito, she has the best eyebrows in the comedy business.
They're very sexy.
And
she can very attractive eyebrows.
And she can utilize them to great effect comedically.
I love my eyebrows. I'm
nice.
not going to look to saying that. Yeah.
You should. I think they're fantastic. Hey, I was wondering, do you go over to Lebanon?
Yes, I do. Haven't been, because it all kind of got a bit dangerous again, but I haven't been. I've taken my daughter, but I haven't been for a couple of years now. But once things settle, hopefully, yeah, I'll take my son over.
Oh, that's because I always hear that it's really beautiful. My great uncle is Lebanese and he talks about it very fondly. So I'd love to go at some stage myself. Yeah, but I didn't know if you had any kind of, I don't know, tourist advice. I don't know why I'm asking this as though it's like tourist tips. But
well, it's quite, so my family are from the south, which means we're kind of closer to the Israeli border. So it's all a little bit more, considered a bit more dangerous. But I took my husband before we had children to Lebanon, and he... I think it was weird seeing it through his eyes, because he was just like, oh, there's a lot of soldiers and tanks. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, you know. And we were driving to the south to go near the sea to have lunch. And we pulled over because we were looking at the orange groves, and my husband just bent down next to this missile, and he just went, so is this, he turned to my cousin, he went, so is this like an ode, like a statue that's just been put here in like kind of memory of the war? And my cousin was just looking at him like, no, that's a live missile. Because,
oh my God.
And he just literally went and sat in the backseat of the car and spent the entire rest of the time Googling stuff on BBC about how we shouldn't be where we were. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, you grow up, so you're so used to it. Like, I'm so used to it, like the army checkpoints and stuff. You're just used to it. But from his point of view, he was just like, oh, this is really, it's quite intense, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I always I feel the same way when I've had people come over from England to like where I grew up, which is on a farm in Western Australia, and just explaining to them like, okay, so when you're walking, you have to stomp your feet because like then the snakes will slither away. But like obviously that's for the best, because if you get bitten, you normally die in about 15 minutes and the nearest hospital is like 30 minutes away. So like just try to make sure you don't step on one. And people are like terrified, but because it's something that you've grown up with, it sort of doesn't feel.
That sounds more terrifying.
Yeah, I'm more upset by that. I was gonna say like my wife is British and we met in America. We were both living in Tennessee, which is in the American South, and I'd have to explain to her, like, yeah, we're in this bookstore and that man over there has a gun for no reason, and that's just what we all came to live with. Like we all just kind of.
Well, I guess that's the thing in America, the gun culture. That I think that's really shocking. Like the gun here just feels like a really extreme weapon. It's like if someone was walking around the streets with a gun, you're like, but if like the gun is just kind of normal,
like a normal accessory. I
even feel weird when I see a police officer with a gun. I'm like, oh my god, that police officer's got a gun.
I know, no, it does feel, and I always feel like they're fake, don't you? Like if you see them at the tube station or something and they're stood with like those big guns, I'm always like, oh, look at you with your water pistol.
Yeah,
it is strange, because in in America every cop has a gun and most of the people just kind of have guns, and you'll literally just be walking around and people just have holstered firearms for no reason. And
like why aren't we just in a world where it's like, let's just not have guns?
It's phenomenal. So like when I lived in Tennessee, like they passed a law that was like you can take a gun into a bar, and I was like, first off, why? Who was clamoring for this? Who looked at the bar environment and said, do you know what this place needs is firearms? Like this is the one thing missing from. We have booze, we have young people with raging hormones, we have it's a dark space, close quarters. But you know what would be really great is if people had the ability to violently murder at will. It is a ridiculous thing. But like now when I'm in the UK, it does seem weird to see somebody with a gun. But I'm never frightened by it because I'm like, it's nice to, not nice. Yeah, it just reminds me of home. I don't know.
Aw, that's so sweet. The sentimentality.
I'll say living in the UK, one of the best things about living in the UK is just not worrying about mass shooting. It just doesn't. I don't have to worry about it. Which is
guns. Like, can you take guns into soft play?
Probably some states, I'm sure.
Mental.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's just
alerting the kids to come back to the table for their dinner. Just like, sandwiches ready. Come on.
Not far off.
Yeah.
But I will say that, I mean, I'm having a kid and part of me really wishes I could raise it in America. Not the part that would have to pay for birth, because that's real sweet. That's all covered here. It's all part of the cover charge when you get into the UK. But yeah, I'm glad that my kid won't have to like do active shooter drills in school, which is such a disturbing thought.
That's awful, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyways, I don't know, Esther, we've been talking a bit about what your life's like now. Are there any, like, is there anything in particular you're obsessed with these days, or particular interests that that you've taken up recently, or
lockdown,
or just like what today are you really obsessed with or making you really happy?
Puzzles.
Really?
Yeah.
Jigsaw puzzles?
Yeah. They're really calming.
They are.
I'm really getting into puzzles. And initially, like, my kids were like, oh, can I? In fact, they're the words that make my heart sink when I'm trying to cook a meal or do something. Can your kids come and go, can I help? And you're like, oh, just really do this, or just need your hands in it. But doing puzzles, there's some, I don't know what it is about them. And I've never been a big puzzler. There's something very, very, very relaxing about it. I was talking to another comedian who was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You're not 90. And I was like, because I don't know, it's just something that just keeps your mind kind of occupied without having to listen to anything or absorb any information. And it kind of gives your brain a bit of a break. And I think when you're especially in lockdown, where everything is so physically in your face, you know, managing a family, and then you're doing like Zoom gigs or writing and trying to do stuff to keep you kind of creatively ticking over. It's really nice to do something for an hour before you go to bed that just goes, right, this is me just switching that off, and I'm just gonna, and it just makes me a really sexually attractive person, I think.
Oh, for sure. Actually,
my husband gets really turned on when I'm like doing a 5,000 pizza. Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Did you just finish that whole sky part? Shit.
Oh yeah.
No, you're not alone, because actually a number of my friends are also doing puzzles, and actually we're kind of the lame ones in our friend group, because there's been this like puzzle swap exchange between us where like people are trading puzzles.
I want a puzzle exchange group. I don't know anyone. Maybe I'll ask.
Put it out on Facebook. I'm sure you'll find like you'll get a lot of direct messages like, I was afraid to talk to anybody else about this, so you're so brave.
I'm so brave. I'm a puzzler, okay? And that's just who I am.
You need to accept me.
Maybe I'll knock on the neighbours' doors and be like, I just don't know if you're into puzzles. I mean, totally cool. I'm not at all. But if you are, like, there's just a mate of mine, definitely not me, who's just looking for some puzzle swaps.
You should be like, you know what's crazy? I found this puzzle on the sidewalk in front of our houses, and I was just like, I mean, wouldn't it be dumb to do this? But like, I don't know. Do you want to like do this with me? Like, I mean, I wouldn't normally, but I just thought, you know, I found it. Some lame person must have dropped it.
It would be particularly funny with my neighbours, because I have a family who live this side who don't speak. They are silent. And even when we got burgled just before Christmas. And we came home from my kids' school disco and came to the house, and everything was just smashed up. And I was like, oh my God, we've been burgled. I know. And they'd like stolen all the Christmas presents. And,
I
know. And I ran round to my neighbour's house and knocked on the door and just was like, burgled. And the door was open, and I genuinely expected him to go, oh my God, do you need my phone to phone the police, or do you need a cup of tea, or let the kids sit here while you kind of call the police? And he just kind of stood there and went, oh, sorry.
No!
Slowly close the door.
My face. And I was like, oh my God, that's really mortifying.
Do you want to hear my theory? Is that your neighbors burgled you?
It's him. But then he came out of the house one day with his wife and their child, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you had children. And his wife turned around and went, well, yeah, we knew you did.
Wow.
They are silent.
Wow.
And the door's like, but they are completely silent. But on the other side, I have a lovely old man who's very, very sweet. But my kids now spend quite a lot of their time on top of the climbing frame talking to him. And I think he gets a bit like, he's got stuff to do in his garden. So he kind of threw this packet of chocolate over the fence, as like, you know, you do with the dogs, just to make it go away from you. So he threw these chocolates over the fence, and the kids just ran off and scattered and, chocolate. And I think he was like, oh, that'll give me a bit of a break. But my son then thought, oh, well, if he's just handing out stuff. So my son then the next day went back onto the top of the climbing frame and was like, today, could you throw some crisps over? And I was like, no, this isn't going to be a daily thing of just what we need.
You can't ever do anything with them once and expect it to be a one-time thing.
No,
every time.
No, you really can't. But they won't leave him alone now. So I think if I went round and then asked him to do a puzzle with me, he'd be like, what is wrong with your family? Most elderly people are annoyed that their neighbours don't get involved that much. I really need a break from you guys.
Yeah. No, I think that they're really good for anxiety, the puzzles, because it is satisfying.
Yeah.
I'm not elderly people.
See, this is when you talk about attractiveness. It made me realize that when I was like in my early 20s. Now, this is a thing that I completely forgot about. But it's like in my early 20s, I bought a bunch of puzzles. I would just buy puzzles and then do them compulsively, to the point where there was just like a stack of like 4 or 5 completed puzzles, just one on top of the other on my kitchen table. And then like, I don't know, like as you do a post-mortem on your 20s, you're like, why didn't I have more sex? And it was maybe because I was at home doing puzzles, and then anybody who might have seen that would have been like, well, that's a lunatic.
Anytime a girl came home, she was just like, oh my God, I've got to get out of this place.
Oh my God, he's going to turn me into a jigsaw puzzle.
It's not like it's not like men are like, yeah, men aren't like, you know, I can literally smash out a 15,000 pizza in 2 days.
Yeah. There is something that, there's been a lot of puzzle talk amongst my friend group. And then something I became obsessed with is there's a movie coming to Netflix on Thursday called Puzzle. And it is a drama with Kelly MacDonald, Scottish actress Kelly MacDonald, and Ifran Khan. Ifran Khan. He is a professional competitive puzzler. And she is a housewife in a bad marriage. And then she becomes his like puzzling assistant. I have no idea how this is going to go. I am really thrilled to watch it.
That is the sexiest combo. Irfan Khan and puzzles. Shut the front door.
I don't know how in the trailer they do kiss. So I'm wondering if they're going to fall in love. I know, right? Oh, I hope that they just
have
like
a really like impassioned romp on the puzzle, and then he'll go mad. Like, you've messed up the puzzle, the puzzle that I've been working on.
I just feel like I've like stumbled into like some kind of alternative universe where all people talk about is puzzles. Like, I'm really confused.
Now we're just puzzlers. That's what we are now. It's like Handmaid's Tale. We're all just locked away in houses wearing big hoods and puzzling.
How is there genuinely a film being made about puzzles? Like, I'm really confused.
I don't know. I haven't been this excited about a movie since that one movie about ballooning that came out a few months ago.
I don't believe these are films.
They're my favorite films.
No, it's something you found on the dark web that you and all you're all in the Weird Man Club, and you all log on and you talk about
Weird Man Club. Yeah.
You know what? You don't want to knock on the door of the Weird Man Club. It's weirder than this.
I feel like I'd rather stumble in on the puzzle balloon fans than like some of the other dark parts of the internet.
This is
but you knock on the door of the Weird Man's Club, and Matthew will just open the door and just throw chocolates, and you just wave to get you away from the Weird Man's Club. Yeah, and you just have to scatter clambering for the chocolate.
Come back asking for crisps the next day.
I'd come to the door and be like, "Come back later. We're painting our models," and then just slam the door.
I did want to go to a gig which was in like a hall, and I'd got the wrong venue, and I walked in. It was just lots of sad men doing the modeling, and they're all just sat there, and they all just looked up like female, and I was like, "Hello." I'm to tell jokes, and they were just like, and this woman just kind of ushered me out and was like, no, they're not ready for that. So I then realised I got the wrong venue.
Oh,
could have been a good gig.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it was there. It was the Sad Men Club.
Wait, what happened to the Weird Men Club? Now it's the Sad Men Club.
I feel like this is becoming really sexist towards like.
It is. This is just pure misandry here, and I won't stand for it.
Well, if you invited me on, you should have known. That's the way it goes.
I probably should have. I thought you were just a nice mom.
I am. I'm a fucking nice mom. All right.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sorry, I've led us down a weird path.
I love this path. It's a fantastic path. But I feel like Matt's trying to say something. What are you trying to say, Matt?
I was going to say, when we meet back up again in 6 months, we can all talk about the movie Puzzle.
Definitely going to watch it.
Which has definitely been removed from Netflix in 6 months, so nobody else will be able to watch it. I also recommend The Aeronauts on Amazon Prime. It's about people who are ballooners.
Thank you, Matt, for that recommendation. Do you want to make a big swing prediction for the future, Esther, for 6 months' time? Like, as in a massive prediction.
Where do you think you'll be in 6 months'
time? I'll still be on this chair. That's what will happen. I'll be on the chair talking to other comedians going, who would have thought that literally we're not allowed outside our houses? Swing prediction in 6 months' time. In 6 months' time, when will that be? What will the month be?
January 29th, about.
Oh, I don't know. Coming out of our second lockdown.
Okay, nice.
Coming out of our second lockdown, I'll be star of Puzzle 2. I'll be shooting that film, and it'll be me starring in it. I'll be the main role because they really need a woman who is really good at puzzles, but also has the best eyebrows the world has ever seen. And this is what the world needs. They need really intense eyebrows and amazing puzzle skills. So I'll be shooting that. Kanye West will be president.
Wow. I mean,
wow. These are big swing predictions.
Yeah, these are all, and it's all going to happen.
Do you think that the audition for the Puzzle movie will involve you having to do a puzzle?
Nude on a casting couch.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. That's how.
No, will I have to do a puzzle? Yeah, but it'll be like a really complex one, like those 3D ones.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And I'll be like one of those actors who are like, yeah, I had to train. I had to go to like puzzle camp and train to become the lead puzzler. The leading man will be someone, I don't know, just off the top of my head, maybe somebody like I can't think of anyone I fancy.
Ewan McGregor?
No, I don't fancy him. It's got to be someone I fancy.
Hot takes.
Sorry, Ewan, if you're listening. I think you're really attractive.
When you were younger and I could just list people I fancied, now like no one appeals anymore. I think I'm very tired.
That's understandable. That is. I mean, I tried to think of someone the other day and I thought of Brad Pitt, and then I was like, this is literally from when I was like 15 that I thought of him as a crush, and now it's like I don't know where he's at in his life now.
He's probably still handsome.
Yeah, no, he would still be attractive for sure.
It'd be like if you were like, oh, I still find Johnny Depp attractive, and it's like, no, that guy hasn't been attractive in 20 years.
Maybe it's
you don't think he was attractive as Jack Sparrow? You don't think Johnny Depp was attractive as Jack?
Oh, no. Do I think he was attractive as a drunken pirate with dreadlocks and mascara? No.
Wow. I totally thought it was hot in that.
No, that's not my cup of tea. But I think nowadays, if you say you fancy someone, it's got to be someone who's like in a pop band. Are pop bands still things? No.
I mean, I don't know.
Who do people fancy now? I don't know. But when we were younger, it was like Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt. They were all like the heartthrobs. But who are the main heartthrobs now? Who are the people that young people are all fawning over?
Eddie Redmayne?
Who?
No. Yeah, you think so? I guess
Redmayne?
so.
I don't know. I don't know what people like.
I think people think of him as like a really good actor, which obviously he's a good actor, but I don't know if he's like the main, like I don't know. I'm trying to think of young people. I feel like I'm not at this stage anymore of my life.
Yeah.
Who's the guy from Black Panther? The Black Panther. That guy. That guy's handsome. People like that guy.
I haven't actually watched Black Panther.
Well, he's good.
Well, he's good.
He's a handsome fella. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the Australian guys.
Answers quick to hand. I think like in the Weird Men Club, they have like a list of aspirational men, and Matthew's listing all the inspirational men on the Weird Men Club list.
Eddie Redmayne, the Black Panther, not the actor, just the Black Panther.
No, I don't know who I'd have. Tom Hardy, him. He's going to be in 6 months' time. Me and Tom Hardy will be making a very romantic, sexy puzzle film, and we will all be robots.
Whoa!
Wow,
that took a turn.
That did. Sorry,
that's my realistic expectation for 6 months' time.
We'll check in on that.
Well, that sounds good.
One last thing before we go. We're not going to say goodbye because through the miracle of editing, we're going to talk to you again in a moment. But we do have the Jordan Gray challenge. Jordan Gray, who was our first guest, she challenged herself to write a joke she had no punchline for. And the idea is that you start the joke and then we'll edit it seamlessly together and you'll deliver the punchline at the beginning of the next interview. So
I've got to do a setup now. So it's fine. Unusually, I was I don't know. When I was out shopping, I was really surprised when the man in front of me turned around and...
Cheer up, sweetheart, might never happen. I told him to fuck off. He said, I don't ever argue with idiots. And I turned around and said, you know what? You're right. And I don't know why that's funny. It's not. I think I was just feeling really fucked off when I wrote it. So it's not funny at all. I can only apologise for that.
No, I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of those like jokes that's like... It's
not really a joke. That's a crap meme is what that is.
No, but it's like the honesty of it that makes people laugh, because people could laugh at that, being like, yes, I've totally... As soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, that thing when men, I've had it so many times where men have been like, how about a smile? And you just want to smash them in the face.
It's really bizarre. I think men are doing it less, maybe.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think I've had, but then again, maybe I'm also not as young and attractive as I used to be, so people don't care.
Yeah, maybe just don't get spoken to in a really patronising way as much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think since I last spoke to you guys, I've become more and more just kind of gnarled and infuriated. So there is nothing funny seeping from me. It's just rage, just pure rage.
I love it. Let's fuel that rage into this podcast for a fantastic episode without Matt, because guess what, everybody? Matt's just had a baby! Oh my god! It's so exciting.
So is it on his Instagram?
He's literally, because I just messaged him being like, are you coming to this? And he was like, no, please apologise to Esther from me. And then he sent me this picture I'll try and see if I can show it to you. Can you see my video now?
No. They've said they're disabling your video because of bad internet quality.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll have to message it to you. But it is so sweet. And honestly, it's just amazing, isn't it? Like, it's so kind of...
Oh, it's a crazy feeling. I don't think that baby never feels real until that first moment that he or she is out and about.
Yeah. And it's...
I can see you. Show me the picture. Show me the picture.
I've got to get it quiet and find it.
Before it goes...
Quick, hurry. Can you see?
Oh, look.
Look how happy he looks.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it? I think because Matt and I have been talking quite a bit leading up to this about, you know, how he feels. And I think he was pretty anxious about becoming a dad and stuff. And also it's one of those things where, like, I've tried to be supportive and stuff, but you can't explain what parenthood is. There's just no way to prepare for it, you know, like, it is literally something that I feel like you just have to experience it moment by moment. And it also changes all the time. So, like, I was thinking about this listening back to you, actually, because you're obviously, your kids are that much older than mine. And I was thinking, like, do you find you look at people with younger children and just think, like, you have no idea what's coming next? Or, like...
Yeah, I guess a little... Or like just looking at that picture of Matt with tiny Bubba, and you just think, oh, it's such a nice little bubble to be in. Those first few months where the baby is just completely... just sleeps. Sleeps and sleeps and sleeps. I know there's a lot of waking up in the night, and... that's kind of all very broken up, so you are very sleep deprived, but there's no other demands kind of mentally. And then when they start sleeping through, that's when they suddenly start demanding more mentally of you during the day, of like being like more interactive and cognizant, and you're just like, the challenge is completely different. But oh my god, do I salivate over newborns. I would kill. I'm like a psycho. I sit on Instagram on all these baby pages. Like, if someone took, you know, on Instagram, I don't know what the words are for all the buttons. I'm not a freaking kid who knows what I'm doing. But if you know, when you go on the little search tool and it gives you all the recommendations of other pages you should look at, mine is just drag queens and babies.
Wow, what a combo.
Drag queens just because of makeup and just the kind of aesthetics of enjoying looking at different outfits and stuff. And then babies, just, I love baby videos, and I will sit and stare at them all the time, and I get so nostalgic for baby days.
Well, actually, my husband said to me today, he was like, do you think you're pregnant? I was like, no, I don't think I'm pregnant. But then I was just like, oh, but imagine. And he was like, no. And I had that brief moment of being like, oh, it'd be so sweet, because they're just so cute, aren't they? But then it's like, our life is so chaotic just with 2 toddlers. And then I think about I don't know how people do like 3 or more children.
I mean, I would love it. I would love to have another one, but I would also rather be hit by a car. And that's a very weird place to be, where you're like, I would literally kill to have another baby, but also I would rather die.
Yeah.
Because it is mental. It's the cutest thing ever, and it's such a lovely feeling, but also it is so hard.
Yeah. And
it's so hard.
It's more the thought of having another new baby now. It's like, then all of what we've worked towards is starting afresh again, and I just don't think I can. I just don't have the mental strength to do it at the moment.
I don't think I do. I was thinking, like, I don't know, is it the pregnancy? I don't know if I could be bothered with being pregnant again. Like, because everything just, even though it's only like a matter of time, so like you're nauseous for like 3 months, let's say.
Yeah.
But still, if someone said like, are you going to be nauseous for 3 months? And then my son kind of kicked the living crap out of my inside. So I would have this thing where he would suddenly just kick, and I had this trapped nerve, which would then mean I kind of just then would be in sheer agony and unable to move, and the size of a small island, and just constantly just like, and then just like hobbling and feeling really vulnerable, but also really fucking present and huge and really unavoidable. And so it's like 9 months of that's quite a long old schlep.
Yeah.
And then labour, I don't think I could be bothered to give birth again. Although, I mean, you do it, but it's really tiring, isn't it? It's really full on.
Yeah.
And then being woken up. I mean, I think if someone said you can have a baby, but you're not going to feel tired, I would do it.
Oh, you know what?
But the sleep deprivation is what kills you.
Oh my God. In April, so long as the world sort of resumes some form of normality, Sam will be going to nursery and we will actually have 3 mornings a week to ourselves. Like, that is crazy. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's really important. I don't actually know how postnatal depression. God, this has taken. What a fun podcast.
That's going to be like, great, guys. Thanks.
Postnatal depression. Let's talk about it. But no, postnatal depression must have gone through the roof during lockdown. The amount of women that must have given birth and then not been able to have family around to support, go to parent groups. And as much as, you know, I'll sit there and make jokes about parent groups, at the end of the day, when you got a newborn baby, and you know this as well as I do, rocking up at some church somewhere where kids can roll around on a mat and someone else makes you a cup of tea is like
heaven.
I mean, that is essentially a spa, isn't it? You're just like, I mean, I remember this local church. I mean, I love our local church, and I'm not religious at all, but I was like, this church is amazing. You go there and they give you a cup of tea and a biscuit, and someone coos over your baby, and it was all just run by old ladies. But I was like, that was in my diary every week, and not to be able to have things like that. Other mums that you can just kind of, and also because suddenly your relationship changes, and all these women that were like, oh my God, I just love my husband, he's so amazing, and then about 6 months in, they're just turning up to play groups going, I really want that prick to die slowly in acid, and you're like, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Because you'd always have all those smug mums to be like, my husband's just really good, he's just really good, and you're like, yeah, you wait until you've been woken up 17 times each night and you both want to kill each other. So all those things that you need, I mean, God,
yeah, it must be so hard. Matt said, like, he's only allowed to stay there for an hour, apparently, at the hospital with their baby now. And then he's got to go home, which to me makes no sense, because it's like, well, he's already there. How is he increasing the risk of COVID by staying longer? Like, that just is crazy. There are all these rules right now that are like, you know, because he couldn't go in for the scans and stuff. And
do you know, I was having this conversation with so many people that I felt that I've literally gone a little bit mad, mainly because I've had COVID myself, so I've been on lockdown.
Have you? When did you have it?
Yeah, so I got diagnosed last weekend.
Oh my God, have you got it now?
Well, no, I came down with symptoms in the week before. So basically I was in Dubai gigging. Mm-hmm. We all had to be tested. We were being tested so much. Like, I've never had that much penetration in my life, not even on my honeymoon. I was like, can I just go a day without somebody radging something into our orifice? But okay, they needed to test us. And then the airlines were like, we want to test you. And then the UK borders were like, we want to test you. So we were having all these tests. And then it was literally all you had to do was get on a plane and get back. And that was all that was needed. So we got tested literally before we arrived at the airport. We got tested when we were there. Then we get on this plane. We're wearing a mask the entire time, constant. And they said as well on the plane, they've got some technology that purifies the air every 3 seconds or something insane. Get off. But it must have been travelling home from the airport, because everybody that I travelled with to Dubai, the other comedians, absolutely fine, no issues. They've done their 10 days lockdown. So I was doing my 10 days lockdown. So literally came straight from the airport, got home. And then about 6 days into that, I then just got this blinding headache. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's COVID. Went for a test, came back positive.
Oh no.
And then, I mean, you know, it's always shitty to feel rough anyway. And then doing homeschooling.
Oh my God.
Really good moment though. Really good moment. Felt that we were particularly doing really well. I come downstairs. My husband bought a new bike, which is the size of Lake Geneva. And for some reason, it's really important that it's in the living room. So I come downstairs, trip over his bike. I have a go at him. He turns around and goes, oh, he's being an absolute fucking arsehole, a side effect of COVID. I was like, oh, you
Oh
cunt.
my God.
You absolute cunt. So there we are, being vile, and then we turn, and my daughter's just logged herself onto homeschooling, and her teacher's just sat there on the laptop while we're literally going, "You absolute piece of shit! You are everything that is wrong in my life. Right? If you died, I'd be happy." So we're having this conversation, and then my teacher's just like, "Is mum all right?" I'm like, "No, mum isn't all right." So I just had to write a really apologetic email explaining that me and my husband aren't abusing each other. But literally, that is probably, that was the pinnacle, the breaking point of just body aches, feeling rough. He's got this new bike. He's feeling frustrated because he's just been on his own with kids while I've been abroad gigging, and then the kids are just being, they've lost all interest in life at the moment. They're just like sliding around the floor, just not listening to anything. And so it all just kind of was like, and I'm like, it just had to be at that moment that your kid's teacher just logs in, just like, "Okay, I've just witnessed Manito household violence." No, I think it's really important to just really insult each other in front of various state
teachers
workers.
and yes,
just like really lay into them. I felt a bit like, did you ever used to watch Father Ted?
I've watched a little bit of Father Ted. I haven't watched a huge amount.
There was a couple in Father Ted, this Irish couple, and they were always beating the shit out of each other. And then the moment the priest would walk into their shop, they'd be like, "Hello, Father. I was just stroking his hair there. Isn't he brilliant?" Because she's been slamming his head into a wall. And I was like, that was a real moment, because we were both like, oh, hi. Yeah, no, we're really in love and happy.
We were joking. We were role playing how to deal with conflict.
I think I do think that people find it maybe a little bit, not shocking, but definitely when I do stand up, are like, "God, you really do just lay in." But I've never understood kind of passive aggressive undertones. It's like, well, no, if someone's pissing you off, you call them a prick, and then you have that conversation, and then it's done, and there's no resentment, there's nothing underlying underneath. And I mean, the fact that I swear a lot doesn't help, so I maybe don't do it in the most articulate of ways, but I've never understood the kind of, I'm just going to keep this inside because that would be wrong, or it would be inappropriate or immature. And I wish I was more like that, but I'm not. It's like if somebody just kind of makes you feel annoyed, just say, "You're really pissing me off."
Yeah,
You're absolutely pissing me
that's
off.
much more what I'm like. But my husband is much more of the passive aggressive parenting, I guess, or like his way of dealing with things is much more passive, which is really funny because it just ends up with me being like, "What are you actually saying?" Yeah, what do you really mean? So okay, so you were in Dubai, which is really exciting. Gigging, how is that? Have you gigged?
Yes, but I didn't realise that whilst I was in Dubai gigging, there was all the press and the media here, which I didn't know, because I'd been booked to go out and do this tour with John Fothergill and Stephen Grant. I've been booked for like probably before lockdown started the first time, and it's just been in the diary. And then so I haven't really thought about like traveling, and obviously with lockdowns, so I kind of wasn't even sure this was going ahead. And then okay, it's going ahead, so you travel out. And then it wasn't until I was out there that suddenly it was all over the British press. It's like, oh, all these influencers escaping lockdown to go and bevy it up in Dubai, and all these people like the irresponsible pieces of shit. And I was like, no, that's not me. And so someone was like, I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that you're in Dubai. But I was like, well, look, what, it's work and I need money. So if that's going to be offered, I'm not in a position. As much as I'd love to be a millionaire that can turn down jobs, I'm not. So, and selfishly, I was really happy to be on stage again.
Oh, it must have been amazing.
They were really, really well run in terms of social distancing, but it was good. It was good to be performing again. Oh, it was so good.
So it's just a crazy time. But you seem to have been still making like headway. You've got your podcast that you've been doing, which I see you've had some amazing guests on. How's that going?
The podcast has been fun. It's been really good. It literally came out of an idea. So this was like a couple of years ago, maybe. Oh yeah, it would have been a couple of years ago. Me and so my daughter's mate's dad, he's a sound producer on Britain's Got Talent, and we got chatting because we were both volunteering on the kids' school trip to the local war memorial for Remembrance Sunday. And so we got chatting, and then he was like, if you ever want to make a podcast. So it's just like,
oh my gosh.
We then talked about an idea. And now, I mean, obviously over lockdown, we've been recording it all by Zoom and stuff, but we literally just were meeting up a few times and just recording these podcasts. And now I love it. I absolutely love it. It's really good fun.
That's fantastic. So, like, you've been doing that. You've just done gigs in Dubai. Is there anything? Oh, one thing I did think of you, as in a week after our podcast that we recorded 6 months ago, and that massive explosion happened in Beirut. I was just like, oh my God, that was crazy, because we'd literally been talking like the week before about, Lebanon, and, you'd said that you hadn't gone back for a couple of years because it had been a bit dangerous and stuff, but you did want to take your son at some stage. And then when that explosion happened, I thought of you straight away. I was just like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. How did you feel about all of that?
Oh, well, I mean, you do just get to a point where you're like, how much can a place take? How much can they take? And now Lebanon it's in a dire situation. It was absolutely horrific. And then obviously the government weren't exactly brilliant at supporting people. I mean, we complain here, but we've had furlough schemes and all the rest of it, and people are just not in financially. God, it's brought Lebanon to its knees. It really has. So it's really, really desperate. We did a fundraiser for it at Vauxhall Comedy Club. So God, I feel like when we last spoke, lockdown's just been continuous. But
yeah,
we had little glimmers of the old hope in between, didn't we?
Yeah. Your prediction was that your prediction was that we'd be coming out of our second lockdown now, which I was like, yeah, I wish we were coming out.
What a fool! How many lockdowns are we in now?
We're in our, I think we're in our third still, I guess, but it's just ongoing, isn't it? It's one of those things where it feels like a never-ending lockdown.
I think the lockdowns are kind of hard to monitor because we don't really understand. Everything's been a little bit kind of haphazard, hasn't it? So it's been like, I mean, last time, so when we spoke, there was no such thing as a tier system.
Oh yeah, no.
So I thought we would be coming out of the second lockdown. What a dickhead.
I just thought and then actually you made I'm sure you made some kind of joke. You said something like, and probably your prediction for yourself was like, I'll still be sat here in this chair, and we won't be allowed out of our houses or whatever. And I was just like,
well, that's right.
It's not really far from the truth, really, is it? Like, we can't I
am pretty much still sat here. I'm about 9,000 stone and I'm not allowed out of my house. So I'm pretty much spot on.
Yeah, God. But yeah, so you were saying we have had glimmers of hope in the last 6 months. Yeah. So, and then, so none of your, I don't know, did you know people affected in the explosion in Beirut?
Yeah. My family, so my cousin, she's there with her 2 children who are the same age as my 2 children, and just videos of her going around to her in-laws' house where everything was just blown in.
What? Oh my gosh.
So yeah, like everyone's houses were just kind of, windows, everything was kind of like shattered. And
but as in, were they safe?
Yeah. No, I don't know anyone who died or anything like that. No one, but people's houses and stuff were definitely messed up. But then again, it was down to the people just to sort out their own clear up. And it's such a bizarre country in a million ways. In a million ways, the fact that there doesn't seem to be, there's not a lot of support for the people of Lebanon. There's not that kind of healthcare system or support system that helps them during these times, and that's awful, real fucking tragedy.
Yeah, God, yeah, I just couldn't believe it watching that footage of that explosion.
Oh my
and stuff.
God,
it was crazy.
It was the second explosion. The way everyone was like, "Fuck," and then there's just another one that's even bigger. It's just like, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it was really crazy. Well, I'm glad that your family are safe. That's good.
Thank you.
So I have also been thinking about puzzles. Have you continued work on your puzzling?
I love that we're covering all the big issues. Puzzles. So we've done COVID.
We've done the explosion.
We've done corruption in the Middle East. Sorry. have you continued to work on puzzles? Look, I haven't. Look, right, and I know you're gonna get all fucking pissed off here. I think after I spoke to you, there was. When did we speak?
What's the date today? It's January the 30th. So I guess it was like July the 30th?
Yes. So
roughly.
I think it was like towards the end of July, we went and stayed in a caravan, and I took a lot of puzzles, and that's all I did. Just a lot of walks in the day, and I just spent my evenings doing puzzles. Oh no, it wasn't. It was in August. I even got a Tiger King puzzle.
No.
I did.
Amazing.
So
do you have any photos of it?
I probably do somewhere. But I just remember sitting and doing this Tiger King puzzle. And then I got another couple of puzzles which I haven't cracked into, but I will do. At the moment, see, I think when I felt a little bit calmer when my kids were in school, when they had school hours. But at the moment, it's kind of like just get through homeschooling and then just have a couple of hours to do admin, writing, all the other shit that I'm trying to do. And then it's back to like cooking dinner and all the rest of it. So I haven't really had like that.
Puzzle
this
time.
This is my day bit. This is my puzzle time.
Yeah.
I've lost my puzzle time.
I'm so sorry.
I'm actually I might kickstart a puzzle actually tomorrow.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Did you watch that movie Puzzle or something that Matt was talking? Were you talking about the
No,
film?
because whilst he was very, very zealous about it, it didn't sound great.
No.
I'm going to look it up now. Puzzle, IMDb.
I didn't.
I remember.
watch it.
I remember looking it up and thinking, I don't know. There's a lot to watch.
Am I going to invest this amount of time in a movie about puzzles?
Do you know what though? It's got a good rating.
Has it?
Yeah. I might actually watch this. I can't remember why I thought it didn't look that good.
Because it was about puzzles.
I think that's mainly what put me off. It's got Kelly MacDonald, who was in Trainspotting.
Oh wow.
Maybe I will watch it. I might watch that.
Okay, great.
No, I think it just looked quite arty. And I've really gone downhill with my anything that seems kind of like intellectually gratifying. I've kind of avoided it. I've just gone, I want my viewing to be bland, basic shit that I don't need to think too much about. So I've just been watching a lot of like reality TV crap.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like I just can't be bothered to sit and watch like I don't know, just be like, I'm just going to watch the latest Scorsese or like Coen Brothers film. And instead I'm just like, can I just watch like a rom-com? Or actually, I can't be bothered watching movies at the moment. They're just too long. Like I don't have that time to invest right now. So is there anything from the past 6 months that has surprised you? Or like, as in, if you listened back to the episode at all, was there anything that you kind of were surprised listening back to the episode?
I think when I listened back to the episode, like lockdown, everything still seemed like a relatively quite exciting, doable thing. And I think because it was summer and you could have your back door open and go in and out and, you know, using all the green spaces around you seemed a really positive thing. And we made like a little vegetable patch and we were growing vegetables and stuff. But now it's like nearly a year later. Yeah. And I think that, it's actually like back then it seemed really doable. But then, you know, we look at other countries. I think sometimes we forget that the UK isn't like other countries. So other people have handled it differently and had different outcomes. And we are one of the few countries that are having a particularly long, drawn out, hard lockdown period. And I definitely wouldn't have thought that was how it was going to end up.
Yeah.
Bleak.
Great. No, it's
more aspirational, life affirming, positive, uplifting time with Esther will be tomorrow. Anyway, I'm blethering on. I really blether on. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry at all. I love talking to you. I have one.
I talk way too much. It's like shut
No,
the fuck
no,
up.
you don't.
I'm just really excited to be speaking to somebody, Tara, that I didn't birth.
I completely understand. I have one more question for you, and I will let you go because I realise I've taken up a lot of your time. I wanted to ask you what's next for you? I love the way I said that in a really positive way. What's next for you?
What's next? You've just been doing all these really exciting things like laundry. The other day you went into the loft. New puzzles, maybe, in the future. What's next for me? I don't know. Well, I mean, I did do a bit of filming for Stand Up Sketch Show, so that's out on ITV2 in February.
When was that?
Yeah, so that'll be cool. So I filmed, actually, so I'm in, whose sketches am I in? Susie Ruffles, Russell Kane's, Kima Bob's, Elf Lions. Is there somebody else? I can't remember. I don't think that's it. But and we got the last bit of filming done just before lockdown started this time. And so I don't know what the TV schedule is, but I know
that's
it's out
so
in February.
exciting. Congrats.
So that will be, yeah, I mean, I was, you know, and you're kind of like, oh, I wonder what character I'll get to play, something really sexy. But I was made to look so old and so haggard that when I came home from filming, my children cried. My son just went, death, and ran away, and my daughter just burst into tears and went, why do you look so awful? And I was like, I'm so glad that my TV debut is going to be made looking really sexy. So I just played a lot of really attractive people that had lots of crow's feet and saggy breasts.
Amazing.
And completely greyed hair. So that, yeah, so that'll be out, so watch out for that. Anything else that's happening? Oh, I'm doing my solo show online for Leicester Comedy Festival, my new one. I don't know how that's going to work out.
How have you been writing that? Like, as in, have you? Oh, you've been doing Zoom.
Well,
I forgot about that. Sorry,
but I did my first preview of the show just before the very first lockdown started.
Okay, so this is your show from last year then that should have gone to Edinburgh last year, is it?
Yeah. So I haven't performed it since March.
Wow. Amazing. So,
and I'm doing it in 2 weeks.
That's exciting. Have you been rehearsing that, or like going through it and stuff, looking at what you've done?
No, because I've been busy with other stuff, but I need to. So thanks for reminding me. I also don't really know. Yeah, I need to work out how to do it online. So there's that on February the 13th. Hashtag not all men.
That is a fantastic
Hashtag
name.
not all
That
men.
is brilliant.
So yeah, that's going to be on 13th of Feb. And that's just, yeah, that's quite cool. I mean, I do bits of it in my stand-up anyway, so those little bits would have been rehearsed in Zoom gigs and stuff. But it's literally just talking about growing up in the 90s and 90s misogyny, lad culture, bants, and just how much fun that was for everyone involved. We all loved it. So yeah, so that's my show coming up. And then what else? I don't know. If you want to follow me, I'm on Esther Manito on Instagram and Twitter.
So you've got lots of stuff coming up. What's your the sketch thing? What was that on? It's on what channel is it on?
Oh, that's part of Stand Up Sketch Show, so that's on
Stand Up
ITV2.
Sketch. So it's called Stand Up Sketch Show, and that's on ITV2. I'm so excited to watch that. That's awesome.
Ah, thank you. So yeah, just in some of those sketches, and then yeah, catch Crusade on Next Up and watch my new solo show
on the 13th
please.
of Feb. Is it live?
On the 13th of Feb. Yeah, so it'll be streamed through Next Up for the Leicester Comedy Festival.
Excited to watch that too.
So it's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on the 13th of Feb. It may just be you, Tara. It could literally just be this. With slides. So who doesn't want a fun / sexy romp through the 90s with PowerPoint?
I think that sounds very entertaining.
So too.
So
it's definitely
rehearsed and known. But yeah, no, I've loved talking to you so much, Esther, and I am sorry that Matt couldn't make it because he was in the middle of
well, he's a selfish bastard who thinks that procreating
and
is important.
is literally in the hospital as we speak, although he's probably been forced to go home.
Somebody posted on social media that having children is not actually environmentally sound and a really
just
selfish
keep that
thing
in
to
mind,
do.
Matt, if you're listening.
Just maybe if I put that in a little card and just sent it, like
our planet thanks you, not.
Yeah. And by the way, I sent this on recycled card because I'm not a selfish piece of shit like you. No, seriously, congratulations, Matt. That baby, your baby looks very, very, very
so
sweet.
Excited.
Very small and squidgy. Oh my god, and they're so soft when they come out.
I want to go and give them big cuddles.
Makes you just
bite
want to
them.
actually,
yeah,
I know.
I still want to do
that. Oh my
that
god,
to my
need to
children.
steal a baby. Maybe I'll do that in lockdown. Steal a baby. Heard it here first.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Esther. I've loved talking to you. Have you listened to what Esther and I talked about last night?
I did. Yes, I did. It was quite good. Yeah, you guys had a very nice conversation. So that sounded fun. I'm upset that she didn't watch that movie because I really just want to talk to her about that movie. So I might need to record like a side podcast with Esther or just have a conversation on the phone with her because I need to talk to somebody about the movie. Anyways, but
how are you? How is it? Like, obviously, God, I'm so excited. So this is the day after you've just become a dad, and which is amazing.
Yeah. And for anybody being like, why is he recording a podcast? I have nothing else to do because my wife and my baby are in the hospital. I cannot visit them because of COVID restrictions. So I'm just stuck at home, just like making sure the house is kind of in order for her and the baby. And that's about it. I have nothing else to do today. I did go to our friends who are giving us a ride. Gave us a ride to the hospital, and they're giving us a ride back. I went over to their house and practiced putting in the car seat because I've never done that before. So that's it. So
that's so
better
cute.
Than that, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
How was it? Like, how was the birth and everything? How are you feeling?
Yeah, well, to borrow a phrase from Tara Newton's Wordworth, it was full on. It was really. It was a lot. It was, we were in there from 11 p.m. Friday night, and then she gave birth 5:30 the following day.
Oh my gosh. So did you have sleep? I imagine not, right?
She didn't have a lot of sleep. I actually there was like a beanbag in the corner, and so I basically laid on the floor like a little dog bed or whatever, and I did actually get a little bit of sleep, which is good. Certainly wasn't enough, especially by the time I left. I was just really just asleep on my feet. But she unfortunately did not get, between the pain of labor, which it took forever we ended up not being able to go to the midwife-led unit for various reasons, but it was just as well because she was having a difficult time with the pain. Because early on, the contractions were coming like really fast and like really intense and like kind of nonstop for a while. At least initially. And then that kind of slowed down. But yeah, she really needed the epidural. So, and that really helped. But then I think that maybe also kind of extended the birth a bit. So, and the baby is huge. He is 9 pounds and 4 ounces. He had a giant head, which we were expecting because I have a giant head.
Oh, God.
But
poor Alice.
Yeah, I was ashamed. And so they were having some trouble. Like, she was dilating slowly, but then she did get fully dilated. We were afraid she wasn't going to, when the doctor showed up, by the time the doctor actually showed up, they were like, let's see if you're fully dilated. And she was at that point, which was good because there was some slow going on that. And then the pushing, we pushed for about 2 hours. She pushed for like 2 hours. And I was trying to be very supportive.
2 hours? God, that's ages.
It is really. And we were like, the midwife was like, okay, you've been pushing for 2 hours. And Alice and I were both like, no, we haven't. They're like, yeah, you have. I'm going to go get the doctor again.
Whoa.
And we were like, no, that's been like an hour, right? And they were like, no, we've been at this for a long time. And we were like, Jesus Christ. So the doctor came in and was like, we're going to do the forceps. If that's okay with you.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. If the forceps don't work, then that is a medical emergency. We immediately take you across the hall and do a C-section.
Oh,
so
wow. Far
we were
out.
like, okay. So got the forceps out. That ended up working. Did a few more pushes. They grabbed the baby out. It looks so violent.
Oh, the poor little baby.
But
God.
He got out, and that was great. Yeah, but there was, some minor complications, a bit of bleeding. They were keeping them overnight. So, at least overnight. Well, they've been in that hospital all day today. It's about midday on Sunday or Sunday evening. So hopefully they'll be out tonight, but that might not be till Monday morning. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I have shit to do. I have nothing to do. So, and it's kind of frustrating because I'm like, I don't know, like I spoke to Alice briefly today. And she's been on a ward, like an observation ward and then people are coming and checking on her all the time. It's not really a private room. It's kind of loud. There's other babies around. So she really hasn't had any sleep. The baby's sleeping just great. Like he's just like dozing. So, and he's adorable and he's great. I was just like, I was so afraid. Like, I was like, well, he was laying on Alice's stomach for a long time, and they're trying to get him to feed, or just kind of everybody's kind of relaxing. It's been a very intense experience for both of them. And then I felt really bad, but I was like, hey, before I leave, can I hold the baby? I was just so afraid that I was going to get checked out before I got to hold the baby. So I did get to hold him.
How was it holding him for the first time?
It was great. He was really sweet. It was just really nice. And yeah, he's just adorable. I was a bit nervous, never really held a baby, certainly not a baby that young. So it was, but it was good. It was nice. I was afraid he wouldn't like me, or that, as soon as he would be away from his mom, he'd be flipping out. And, but he seemed to, it might be early on, but I think I'm his favorite. So.
No doubt you are. That's so sweet. Oh, how beautiful. That's just amazing. It's such an intense experience. Like, no matter what happens, it's such a full-on life-changing experience. And I'm sorry, to hear about, like, that must have been tough with the forceps.
And it's
stuff.
fine. I mean, like, early on, like, when she was pregnant, I was kind of joking, but not really. I was like, oh, we'll just do, like, it'll be natural birth. We'll just go to the midwife-led unit. She'll sit in the tub, and it'll be a water birth, and it'll come out. And, it'll be like, it's just going to be, like, a totally natural thing. And I was like, the only painkillers my wife needs is whale songs, and, like, that's what I thought it was going to be like. And then, seeing her in the actual labor and how painful and intense it was for her. And she has a high sensitivity to pain already, because I think that's the thing about being ginger. Is it makes you very... I don't know why. I actually made...
Is that a genuine thing?
Apparently that's a
joke?
genuine thing, that people who have ginger hair tend to have a higher sensitivity to pain. And so seeing that, and then she was like, they were... Initially we got there and there was, some issues. And because it was so intense, they were like, well, we're putting it on monitoring. So like the midwife-led unit was out right away. And, she's like, I need painkillers. And I was like, absolutely, whatever you need. I have no... Like, whatever you say you need, I say you need it too. And so everything, so we got in there and we were like, can we get the epidural? And they were like, yeah. And then it was like, it took forever for the anesthesiologist to get there. We got there around 11. We were in the delivery suite by like midnight. And then she didn't get that epidural until like 5:36 in the morning.
I can't believe how long stuff takes. I remember getting there and them checking me to see how dilated I was, and then they were like, oh, we're not going to check you for another, how dilated you are for another sort of 5 hours or something. And I was like thinking, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm going to be done by then, right? Like, I'm going to be finished giving birth by then.
Really.
Like, what are you talking about? So I was very angry when I was only, a couple centimeters more dilated in like 4 hours. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we got into the room at like midnight, and our friends who dropped us off is like, if you need to call us, I mean, I'm sure you'll be out by dawn. And I was like, yeah, we'll definitely be out by dawn. Like, but no. And I was like, 5:30 the next day was insane. I was never expecting it to take that long.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be definitely done by noon, and then we weren't even pushing then. We didn't even push until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So.
Oh God, I can't. Yeah. That's so.
She
tough,
did have,
man.
in the meantime, they had gas and air in the room. It's not super helpful, but it does take the edge off a little bit. And then while we were waiting for the epidural, they were like, "Do you want?" I keep wanting to say heroin, morphine.
Heroin is good. I'll take the heroin, please.
While you're here, you want to ride the white pony, huh? Want a bit of that golden brown? Yeah. It's no, it's diamorphine or something like that. And that is the thing that, like, when we were doing the birthing classes, like, that seemed like the worst painkiller, because it can get through the placenta, it can affect the baby, it can like cause complicate some other complications and stuff. But we were just like, whatever is going to help right now. And they were like, it's going to be, it'll be fine if we do it kind of early on, which I was, again, like, early on, won't the baby be here in like a couple hours? It was like, well, we're not early on. I mean, we're pretty much like parents now. I was like outside with the car running, like, let's go. not knowing how long this was going to take. But it was, so they gave her a shot of that, and that helped until the epidural got there. But then, like, the epidural, so I don't know if you had one. Did you have one?
No, I had a 100% natural birth, and I had no gas or air, and I do not. No, but honestly, looking back, I just think, why? Like, why did I put myself through that? I don't think it's worth it. Like, I was so determined to do it, and I had such a painful time. Yeah, it was really bloody hard, and I don't think. And also, Charlie was big, like your son. Tavish. Yeah. It is pronounced Tavish.
I don't think we said that before.
I love Tavish. I think it's a beautiful
You thought it was going to be something boring like William. And I was like, you don't even know what's coming. I've got the coolest baby name picked out ever.
I love it. I think it's so good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't, like, I don't know. Like, it seemed important, and then we were in the room. It's like, there's no, just like whatever that can stop this kind of intense. You know, you feel so bad, you know. See, they're just like, whatever you can do to make my wife feel better at this point. And they keep asking you, like, I'm going to explain to you this thing. And it's like, is that okay? And I was like, we have asked for it. Just do it. You're like, stop telling me consequences. Just do the thing. I cannot deal with consequences right now. Like, they were explaining the forceps thing in great detail, and they were telling us all the risks and possible outcomes, and we were just kind of like, whatever, what else are we going to do? Like, what else are we going to do with this one? Unless we want to just go straight into having a C-section. But we've already said, like, we want to try the forceps. And, you know, it was just, anyways.
Oh, it's so intense.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's so full on. And then I found it really weird, like, how you're like essentially naked and they're looking inside of you, but then they'll like knock really coyly on the door being like, is it okay if I come in? And you're like, yeah, you're about to literally look at me. So
yeah, you had told me that before, that was your experience. And I was like, oh my God, they're fucking doing this. They're like knocking on the door, and we're just like, come in, like, fucking come on. And like, even after the baby was born, they're like, come in. And I'm like, I don't want to yell come in and potentially wake up this baby. Like, just come in, it's fine. There was like, because it was not even like there was a door and then like a privacy curtain. So it's like, come in the door and poke your head around the curtain. That's totally fine. Like, what do you think you're medical professionals. The only reason we're here is because you're here too. This is why we came here. It's so frustrating. It's like, stop being so delicate about this. Anyway, I will say that we had some amazing staff. Our first, we went, because we were there for so long, like we had to say goodbye to our first midwife. And there was like a midwife in training, like a third-year student. And they were both just top notch, just lovely women.
Oh, that's nice.
And they were so sweet and so helpful, and just, you know, they were good about answering questions. They were on top of everything. And, you know, I have zero complaints about that. And it was really sad. Like, they were like, we're going to leave and we're sorry we can't be your baby. And I was like, we're sorry too.
Oh,
no, come back. Give us your numbers. I don't know. Like, I'm just like.
That's really nice. I'm thrilled for you guys. It's just so amazing. It was the most incredible thing. Like, when I was talking to Esther, to have that photo of you come up on my phone with Tavish. It was crazy. It was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for covering for me there. That was good.
Oh, I freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. And I pressed the button to record. And you know, when you just have that thing of like, I really hope this recorded and I'm not doing anything. Like, and then by hanging up afterwards, I was like, oh God, if I deleted everything by hanging up. Anyway, it was just, that was really silly anxiety. But you know, when you've never done something before and you're just like, I've potentially wasted like over an hour of Esther's time.
I worry about that all the time. And I actually did that once. Thankfully, it was just me and Anna talking for a different podcast. And it was just that I had only recorded like about 30 seconds because apparently I hit the record button twice really fast and had only recorded like 30. So we had like, we had to record the whole thing. But yeah, it is always nerve-wracking when you hit the record button because you're like, hopefully this works. And
that's why I'm really happy for you to do it, because I just feel like I just rock up, you know. I just rock up and I just chat away, just have a great time, you know, and then like there's no responsibility.
Exactly. So yeah, here we are back in episode 3 where I first told you about the baby and then the baby came. So
oh my God, that was crazy, wasn't it? It was such a lovely, it was like the stars aligned. And listening back to the first one, I thought it was really sweet, like how surprised and excited I was when you said when you just dropped that on me, like in the recording that you're having a baby. Like that was really exciting.
Yeah. Almost no one.
Oh, and also, sorry, what were you
say?
gonna
Almost
say?
no one was more happy than you were. It's like my mom and then you.
I was just super happy because I just didn't, I don't know. I think I'd talked to you about kids before and like, as in you'd not seemed very decisive or you'd been a bit mysterious. That's right. I feel like you'd been mysterious about it. And I was just super excited when you were having one. Also, you were right about Kamala Harris. Well done. Do you get some kind of prize for that?
Well, like I said, I'm going to get one of them sweet pundit jobs. Pays a lot of money. We just give opinions that don't mean nothing, but for money, which I normally do that for free. So...
That was really impressive. I must say, like, listening back, I was like, oh my God, he was right.
Well, I hedged my bets quite a bit.
I thought it was cute how positive I was about the future.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I genuinely thought live comedy would be happening indoors at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
so
like I said, this should be subtitled Those Poor Fools.
Yeah, I just was like, oh my God, that's super sweet that I really thought that would be happening. Was there anything you were surprised that you thought was happening in the future?
No, I'm always surprised that every week we're like, you know what? I bet in 6 months it's going to be pretty great. That is a theme, guys. Listen in for future episodes. That's a theme that never gets old. We try to be real optimistic, and the world just keeps tamping it down. But
at some stage, it's got to get better.
But Kamala Harris is Vice President of the United States of America, and that is something that they can't take away from us.
And that was positive. That was an
positive,
improvement.
So we're excited.
So that was
we're
good.
excited about that.
Well done.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. Please rate and review, subscribe wherever you get it. Tara, where can people find you on the internet?
Please follow me on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at TaraNW Comedy. You can also follow the 6 Months Later podcast on at 6 Months Later Pod on all those things except for TikTok. What else? Oh yeah, and also if you could support us on Patreon, that would be super appreciated. You can just search for 6 Months Later on Patreon, or you can go to our website 6monthlaterpod.com and find the details there.
Cool. And I'm M. Shadorn on things. I do stuff on Instagram every once in a while. Post pictures. You can see pictures of my baby. And,
Yay.
And you can also go to my Twitter account, but it's pretty much a graveyard of failed jokes. Like, I'll read you a joke here from December 7th, 2013. I think my neighbor is God because yesterday I was eating an apple naked and he kicked me out of his garden. So, if you like that, do a really weird thing and just give it a like, and that'll come up in my alerts, and I'll be like, well, person's really weird. So thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week in 6 months.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my God, Matt's got a baby!
Oh my God! What's he got? Got?
Look, I just got this photo! Can you see?
I can't see. Your video's gone.
Oh no! Oh shit! Oh, the photo's so cute!
What does he have?
I don't know! He'll probably be like, gender's a, if I asked, he'll be like, gender's a construct. So I'm too scared to ask.
Do you know a name?
No, I'm gonna ask now.
Are you allowed to ask any information, or is that all a construct?